Good morning, friends. I hope everyone is doing well. I request everyone to watch my videos in a sequence for better understanding. If you really like my teaching and my efforts, please press the like button, share the videos with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and also press the bell button to get the regular updates. In last few videos, I have discussed what is subnetting. In this video, I want to discuss about supernetting. Now, what is subnetting? If you have a large network, if you divide the large network into multiple smaller networks, then we will call it as a subnetting. Why we will do the subnetting? It is easy to maintain the smaller networks and more security. Am I right or wrong? Instead of managing the large network, managing the smaller networks is easy, and even it provides the more security, because whatever the communication is happening in this subnet, the others will not come to know. But whereas if you have a large network, everyone will come to know. So that is the advantages of subnetting. Now you can ask me, what is supernetting? Supernetting is opposite to the subnetting. Meaning is that if you have smaller networks, if you combine into a larger network, then we will call it as a supernetting. Okay, so subnetting is divided into small networks, supernetting is nothing but combining. Then you can ask me that, sir, you discussed the advantage of subnetting and you even discussed about the subnetting in several videos. We have watched all those videos. Now you are saying that the supernetting is better. Why we should do? Is it clear? Now I will discuss why we should go for supernetting. Okay, the advantages of if you go for supernetting is that if you watched my earlier videos, I have discussed about the routing table. Now the routing table will consist of network ID, network mask and interface. Will you agree with me or not? We will have network ID, network mask or subnet mask and interface. If you have a larger network and you made into smaller 4 networks, then what will be there? Let's take that this is subnet S1, subnet S2, subnet S3, subnet S4. Then the routing table will consist of subnet S1 ID, subnet S2 ID, subnet S3 ID, subnet 4 SID. Am I right? Similarly, the network mask of all these subnets will be there, and even what is the interface, through which interface the router has to forward the packet also will be available, and extra you will have a default entry. Meaning is that if all these entries are not matched, then you will send the packet using a default interface. So it consists of network ID as 0.0.0.0 and network mask is also 0.0.0. So if you have a large network and if you are making into n smaller networks, then your routing table will have n plus 1 entries. N entries for each subnet and 1 entry is for the default entry. Now if I make this smaller networks into one network, then what will be the routing table will consist of? Routing table will consist of, let's take that this network is A's network ID and network mask and interface only will be there. So A's network ID, network mask and interface will be there, and you will have the default entry also. So how many entries are there in the routing table? Only 2 entries are there. One is for the network and one is for the default. So if you go for the supernetting, the number of entries in the routing table will reduce. So that's why we will go for the supernetting. So there are advantages are there in the subnetting and there are advantages in the supernetting. So that's why we are discussing both the techniques called subnetting and supernetting. Okay. Now to make you understand the supernetting, let me discuss with an example. Okay. I have 4 networks consists of network IDs 192.168.0.0/24. Meaning is that it is a classless, okay, network representation. Similarly, I have network 2 which is 192.168.1.0/24. Network 3 is also having 192.168.0./24. Network 3, sorry, not network 3, network 4 ID is 192.168.3.0/24. Now what is the use of these network IDs of N1, N2, N3, N4? Meaning is that I have 4 networks N1, N2, N3, N4, and each one could able to identify with these addresses. Now what is /24? If it is /24, any IP address is represented as a.b.c./n, then we can say that it is a classless IP address representation. What is this n meaning is that n number of bits are allocated for the network ID. In this example, 24 bits are allocated for the network ID. Will you accept with me or not? 24 bits are allocated for the network ID. So 8 bits are there for the host ID. What is the, how I got the 8 bits for the host ID? Because IP address consists of 32-bit address. So out of 32, if you allocate 24 bits for the network ID, remaining 8 bits will live there for the host ID. Am I right or wrong? Now, if 8 bits are there for the host ID, how many hosts are there or how many IP addresses will be there? 2 power 8 IP addresses will be there in each network, and 2 power 8 minus 2 hosts will be there, meaning is that they are the valid IP addresses. Those who have watched my earlier videos, they can know or they can understand and they can easily tell why I am removing this 2 from the valid IP addresses and why I am making -2 as the hosts, because all zeros will be allocated for the network ID, all ones will be allocated for the direct broadcast address. So those 2 addresses I am removing from the IP address list. Okay, now we will discuss how to make this 4 networks into a small one network called N. That is what the supernetting. Am I right or wrong? To perform the supernetting, each network or all these networks should follow certain rules. Am I right? If these networks follows the certain rules, for those networks only we can perform the supernetting. If some networks does not follow the rules, whatever I will discuss now, then we cannot perform the supernetting. The first rule is that all these networks should be contiguous. All networks should be continuous or should be contiguous. Am I right or wrong? Now we will discuss whether they are contiguous or not. Now what is meant by contiguous? They should be in continuous. Now 192.68.0.0. So as if it is 24 bits are allocated for the network ID, remaining 8 bits are allocated for the host ID. So if I take this 0.0 and convert into binary number, I will get 8 zeros, 4 4 dot 0 0 0 0 0 0 0. How many? 8 zeros. Now as it is having 2 power 8 hosts, you will have this 192.68.0 as fixed, and it will vary from all zeros to all ones. Will you agree with me or not? So because this is a one network, in one network you have 2 power 8 IP addresses are there. This one is fixed and the host IDs will vary from all zeros to all ones. Am I right or wrong? Is it clear? Then if you take the next network, which will be 0.0.0001, because it is having 1, so if I convert into binary number and represent it 8 bits, I will have 7 zeros and 1. And it also varies the host IDs from all zeros to all ones. Now if you see that they are continuous, this is 0, this is 1, and this is varying from all ones. The next will be 0 1 zeros 1, so they all are continuous. Then this one will be 1 0 and this one will be 1 1. So I can say that all the networks are continuous, meaning is that you can combine and making it as a one large network. So the first rule is satisfied. What is the second rule is that all the networks should have the same size. Okay, meaning is that same number of IP addresses, and the number of IP addresses also should be in the form of 2 power n. Now please check it. What is the size of this network? 2 power 8, because it consists of 2 power 8 IP addresses are there, because it is having 8 bits for the host ID. So 2 power 8, 2 power 8, 2 power 8, 2 power 8. All these networks are having the equal size as 2 power 8, and they are in the form of 2 power n. So the second rule is also satisfied. Are you able to understand? Now the third rule is that the total size of this network. Total size of this network is how much? 4 into 2 power 8. Will you accept it or not? If I combine all the hosts in the 4 networks, in this network you have 2 power 8 IP addresses. In network N2 you have 2 power 8. In network N3 you have 2 power 8 IP addresses. In network N4 you have 2 power 8 IP addresses. So if you combine all of them, you will have 4 into 2 power 8. Am I right? Which is nothing but 2 power 10. Will you agree with me or not? Because 4 I can write it as 2 power 2. 2 power 2 into 2 power 8, which is equal to 2 power 10. Now the total size of the combined network or all these networks should be divisible by the first network address. Meaning is that, let me discuss again. The total size of all these networks, if I divide this network IP address, this should be successfully divisible. So the first network address N1 is the first network, am I right? N1, N2, N3, N4. Among this one, the first one, network N1, should be successfully divisible by the total size of the entire network. What is the total size of this entire network? 2 power 10. So if I divide 192.168.0.0, then I should get the remainder as 0. Those who have watched my earlier videos, they can easily say that it is successfully divisible. Why? If I have 1010, if I divide by 2, then I can say that remainder for this one will be 0 and quotient will be 101, which is equal to 5. Will you agree with me or not? What is this number? Can you tell me? This is 10. If I convert the 1010, it will be 10. So 10 by 2, which is equal to 5, is the quotient, and remainder is 0. That is what I said. So how I can say it? I will give another example. 10100, 2 by 2. If you are dividing 10100 by 2 power 2, I can say that remainder is equal to 0. The first 2 bits, because you are dividing by 2 power 2, the first 2 bits will be the remainder, and the next remaining bits will be the quotient. So if it is 0, 0, if you convert into decimal number, you will get it as 0, and 101, if you convert into decimal number, you will get 5. So when I can say that the number is successfully divisible, if you are dividing by 2 power n, the first n bit should be all zeros. Then only I can say that it is successfully divisible. Now you want to divide this number by 2 power 10. Meaning is that first 10 bits from the LSB should be 10 zeros minimum should be there. Now how many zeros are there? If you convert into binary number, you will get 16 zeros. Will you accept it or not? This is 0.0. This is what representation? Dotted decimal representation, as you have dotteds here, and these numbers are in the decimal numbers, so we will call it as a dotted decimal representation. If you convert into 32-bit binary numbers, you will get 16 zeros, I can say comfortably. Out of 16 zeros, I have 10 zeros continuous from the LSB to this. Are you able to understand it or not? I can say that 16 zeros are there. This is 8 bits, 6, 8. So 10 zeros are there. I can say that it is successfully divisible by 2 power 10. So these 3 conditions are satisfied. Will you accept it or not? What are the 3 rules? All the networks should be continuous. and they should be of size 2 power n, and they should be equal, and the total size of the network should be successfully divisible by this network. Am I right? Now we will discuss how to compute the network mask for this supernetting. Is it clear? That is very important. How to do it is that network mask is that you have to keep the ones in the fixed part and zeros in the variable part. Okay, will you agree with me or not? The supernet mask or the network mask, after combining all these things, how to compute is that in the fixed part you keep ones, in the variable part you keep the zeros. Okay, now let me discuss how to do it for this example only. Okay, you have the network N1 which is having 192.168.0.0 and /24 is there. So you have from all zeros, okay, how many? 8, to all ones will be there in the host ID bits. Similarly, you have another network 192.168.1. Even this is also all zeros to all ones will be there. Similarly, you have another network 198.168.2.0. even it consists of 8 bits in the host ID. So all the host ID bits from all zeros to all ones will be there, and this is 192.168.3. all zeros to all ones will be there. Will you accept with me or not? Now if you do this, what is the fixed part and what is the variable part? Then in the fixed part you should keep the ones, in the variable part you have to keep the zeros. Now if you see that, will you agree with me, these 8 bits will be variable? Am I right or wrong? Okay, the least significant 8 bits are varying, so I will write here. And if you convert this 0, 1, 2, 3 in 8 bits, then you will have 0, 0, 0, 0. How many? 8 zeros will be there, and here you will have 4, 8. This will be 1, 0. This will be 1, 1. Am I right or wrong? Obviously this is varying for you. Now if you take that these 8 bits are varying and these 2 bits are also varying, will you agree with me or not? So the fixed bits are these 8 bits. If you keep 8 bits once, you will get 255 dot. This also are fixed. So fixed positions you should keep ones. So if you keep 8 ones and if you convert into decimal number, you will get 255. And here the fixed part is this 6 bits. Will you agree with me or not? So you have to keep 6 ones, and variable parts are the 2 zeros you have to keep, and this is also zeros. 8 zeros are the varying, 4, 6, 8. So if you convert into decimal number, what you will get? 255.255.252.0. How I said? Because if you have 8 ones, it is 255, and this is 3. Am I right or wrong? So 255 minus 3 is equal to 252. If you have a doubt, you convert this binary number into decimal number, you will get 252. So the supernet mask for this network, meaning is that you are combining the smaller networks N1, N2, N3, N4 and making it as a one network. For that network, the network mask is 255.255.252.0. Now you can ask me, the next thing is that what is the network ID? How can I identify this network which is equal to the first network? What is the network ID? 192.168.0.0. Now tell me, how many bits are there in the network ID part and how many bits are there in the host ID part? Previously, each network is having 2 power 8 IP addresses. Will you agree with me or not? So if I combine all of them, I am getting 2 power 10 IP addresses in a large network. So minimum I need 10 bits for the host ID. Out of 32 bits, 10 bits are allocated for the host ID, 22 bits are there for the network ID. So this is the network ID for this large network. Okay, and this is the supernetting mask. Okay, so I hope you have understood how to perform the supernetting, how to compute the supernet mask, how to compute the supernet ID or network ID. If you still have any doubts, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubts in less than 24 hours. If you really like my teaching and my efforts, please press the like button, share the videos with your friends, subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching my video. Have a nice day.